we have talked to, I guess, I don't know if we've ever had Cam Janssens on the show over the years, but we've had Andy Strickland over the years. The Cam and Strick Podcast, guys based in St. Louis, great podcast. And recently, as recent as the last couple of days, they had Flames forward Blake Coleman on. And Coleman talking about the season and life, and of course, as you're going to see here, he's talking about, I guess, more or less, maybe is there some a little disappointment because you did sign that long-term deal to be part of a contender, and it's kind of not turned out that way. Here's Coleman.
It was tough for me. I just signed a 6-year deal, so I wasn't expecting guys to jump in advantage, especially with how good we were that first year.
Yeah.
We won the division and whatever. We had a good team, but I knew it was a possibility with obviously the way Johnny hadn't signed throughout the year, and I had heard just kind of rumblings, frustration with how things had been with his relationship. The summer before, he wanted to extend and all these things. So I guess I knew it was a possibility. I think I always hoped that how good of a team we were and that window was going to be wide open for a while. I thought that would keep them around. And, I don't know I think if Johnny stays, I don't know that Chucky left, maybe I'm wrong, but, I'm good buddies with both those guys. I have a ton of respect and love for those guys. I wish they were still my teammates, but, at the end of the day, I also get that you got to do what's best for you and your family. And that's what they
really bumbling around, trying not to say anything.
Yeah, trying to kind of not tell the total truth there. Maybe, I don't know. So I don't know that it's not breaking news, but it's further, I guess, confirmation or whatever you want to call it. But that Johnny wanted to sign and that they didn't get a deal done. And then by the time they wanted to get a deal done, Johnny didn't get a deal done and left. Which is tough to hear, I think, for fans, even though I think we kind of knew that. And it's not like I'm trying just right. You always throw the devil's advocate in. It's just remember where everybody was the year prior. You had to break up the core. Monahan, Gaudreau, these guys couldn't win. You needed more of something. It was never just so easy that we can't lose Gaudreau. He's great. We must keep him, sign him. I think there would have been some pushback from fans if you signed him to the big money long-term extension at that point, I think, but I don't know. Do you recall? Because we're really going back. That's what, 3 seasons ago, because this has now been 2 seasons. So I don't know.
Well, now you're losing me. There's years and numbers, and they should have signed him. They should have given him, but it's weird. The Shoveler and I were talking today.
Yeah.
And something came up in the news about 2022. And it feels like a lifetime ago. It's a couple years.
Yeah, I know.
There were people not like when we came to Buffalo, our kids team was not traveling to Canada to play hockey because you weren't allowed.
Yeah.
It feels like, so, he's not bringing up COVID or this or that. It was part of the decision.
Yeah. And certainly it was part of the decision at the end. And I think when you go back because I think what it is Treliving's taking some heat, or there's a lot of finger pointing at Tree, especially, and you know what it is right now? You can't put the Adam Fox on him. They drafted him. They made a very good pick.
Right choice.
And he turned into a very good hockey player, but didn't want to be here. And now watching Bennett, it's, what do we get for Bennett? Didn't do anything there. And you gave up this.
That's what I looked at last night, though. And I don't know if we're on the same paths of conversation, but watching Bennett play the way he did, Monahan resurrect himself a little bit. Johnny's not played well, but you feel like he's lost his spark being stuck in a town that doesn't give a shit and the team's no good. And it doesn't feel like the emotional attachments there. They went through a rebuild. And that's why they had an opportunity, and Coleman alluded to it, a window that was supposed to stay open to have success, to be playing in games this week.
Yeah.
Right? And they keep trying to say, well, we're not going to rebuild. We're not going to. You did it. It fell apart. And I don't blame Treliving or anyone for it. It just circumstantially, globally, all kinds of shit hit the fan, and all of a sudden that didn't work out. Injuries, but they did go through the rebuild process, and they were in a position to be good. And I think it just speaks to that's the path. Do it again.
Yeah.
Find your way to do it. You want to fast track it, all this shit, sure, but you still have to rebuild it. And it's there's no other way. You can fast track it, but you better be so good with every draft pick you have then, and they better turn into all-stars. Like, you have to have all-star players. Which team playing right now doesn't?
Yeah. You go back to the first round when they got Monahan. They had 3 firsts that year, and Monahan was the one that turned out. But then you go a little bit deeper, and Rasmus Anderson was a pretty good pull, and certainly Johnny was a pretty good pull. And you can't control the Adam Fox thing.
No.
They just, you know what? They just didn't win. They just didn't win.
And then they've left, still in their prime.
Yeah.
That's right. Like, they hadn't won. There are growing pains to doing this. Monahan gets injured. Bennett's not playing that well for some reason. Like, you think back to Bennett, we had no qualms about letting him go.
No.
I didn't. I'm happy to see him playing well and doing good, but he sure as hell wasn't playing like that.
No, not close.
No.
He was lost. He was a lost, confused. He didn't know where to be. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch him
contributing the way he is now. So to think that we gave up on that guy, no, we didn't. It was a completely different player.
Yeah,
completely different player.
And you didn't have that level up. You didn't have Barkov and Tkachuk and the other guys to do the heavy lifting so that he could have a little bit of space. He was very good in the playoffs, but the regular seasons were not great. And you said it, I don't know, you've said it a number of times, but you go back to 2004, and it's, again, this feels like old guys talking about it, but go back to 04 Cup final run. In 03, 02, 01, Calgary was not a hockey hotbed. It was not where free agents wanted to be.
8 years.
No one, I mean, the barn wasn't
Save the Flames.
Right? But then all of a sudden you have some success and you start winning. And now all of a sudden the air is a little cleaner and the mountains feel a little bit closer and the city's a little more vibrant. And this team's, yeah, this is pretty good. They never had that kind of success, not for the fans, but just for the players to say, I've got a good chance to win here, as good a chance as in a number of different places, and I like it here, and it was the flip side. We didn't win. We got bounced. COVID. I can't leave my house. I don't have any ties. My family's not from it. It was just, it stunk. They needed to win.
It was flat. Yeah, they needed to win
something. Yeah, to kind of counteract against all the stuff that was against them. And it kind of feels like you're still a long ways away here.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.